orphans that have by family. And the Family Justice and Accountability Act is my top priority to keep children in biological families. Okay. So 200,000 children were taken from families and they were not orphans at all. They were distributed like property. And the mindset that poor, disabled, or marginalized families could have their children taken was institutionalized in 1962. Now hold on to your seats because this occurred in New York State. In 1962, with what was called the Family Court Act, and it was financially incentivized with the Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997. So it was, just so you know, the 1962 Family Court Act that was put into place in New York, started in New York, and then it went across the whole country, leave it to New York. Basically, what they did was they put this in without the vote of you and I. So without the vote of the people, not state or congressionally. And you wonder why it's on sinking sand. We didn't vote it in. So what does that mean, everybody? That means that they usurped our authority, okay? And then when they did that, they held everybody down and said, you're down here, we're here, okay? But we're now here showing them where we are and who we are, because the authority belongs to us. We're actually their boss, okay? They're our employees, not the other way around, to walk all over us the way they've been doing and destroying children and families for decades. So then it was again ASFA, which is also in the bill, which I want it completely abolished. Yeah. So every child removed became a source of revenue. So it's not just about money though, it's child trafficking, period. That's what it is. This is slavery right here you're looking at. This is slavery of children. And it's continuing. It's in modern day society, continuing under the guise of, this is a court. It looks like a court. It's got, it's got the judge in the front, and it's got the seats, and it's got what looks like a court, but it's not a court at all, because it wasn't voted in by the people. And then they incorporated judicial immunity to that. They added that in. They threw that in for, a bonus, so they can do whatever they want to you. And then, of course, the police support that, and everybody supports that when that's all illegal. Okay, so it says, today we have, hold on to your seat, a multi-trillion-dollar system that profits from family separation. Think of what things cost today. You know what things cost today. You can't even buy a loaf of bread. Think of what things cost. Now think about what this business has brought in financially. People go, it's a multi-million-dollar, it's a multi-million. Honey, it's a multi-trillion-dollar child trafficking industry. That's what it is. Courts and then change the Unified Court System website to actually say what the ADA actually says and not what they said it says. So she's actually put those words in. It's disgusting. So our nation has no uniform judicial training on human rights. Judges have received little to no meaningful training on the Disability Act, despite being legally bound to comply with it. Families with disabilities are routinely denied accommodations that are guaranteed under federal law. ADA rights are treated as discretionary when they are, in fact, mandatory civil rights protections. It's not I'll grant you this, I'm not going to grant you that. How dare they? If a man rolled into the courtroom in a wheelchair, the judge isn't going to say, we're going to hold a hearing and grant his wheels, or we're going to take away his seat, right? It's the same thing with what I call invisible injury, okay? They call it mental illness. I don't like using that connotation because it sounds something is radically wrong with someone, and in some cases we have trolls, so there is something wrong with some people. But with the majority of people, we have people that have what's called invisible injury. It can be PTSD, depression, whatever the court caused you to have, because the court is causing it. Maybe you're in a domestic violence situation, you go for help, and then they make it even worse, right? They re-victimize you and they cause further damage to you. Well, that's a psychological injury. There's nothing wrong with you personally as a human being, right? It's just that they've done this to you. And so that's why there's something awesome called legal abuse syndrome on the DSM-5 now, I think it's line Z, and that is there so we can sue them, but they're not allowing it because the court system goes all the way up the food chain where they're in full control, but not anymore. That day ended today. So, families with disabilities are routinely denied these accommodations under federal law. These are federal codifications and they are such amazing fortified protections, and that's why they don't want you to know about it. That's why they keep the Constitution out, and that's why they keep the Articles of Human Rights out of the court. So just think, those are all three where you can sue, but you can also go after them for criminal charges because they're causing massive damages, right? This bill mandates judicial training on the Constitution, human rights, and the ADA, ensuring that no judge can claim ignorance when violating a family's civil rights. Section 4, the human cost. This is not an abstract policy. These are lives. According to the Center for Judicial Excellence, at least 64 children were killed in custody and visitation-related cases in 2022 alone. I'm sure there's more than that. I don't think they even are saying that, because you have to understand that these are coming through custody orders, and what I see, what I've witnessed over the years is a whole heck of a lot more than that. But they're not marking that. They're not telling you that a judge made that order, okay? 30 more deaths were already reported halfway through this year alone, 2025. These numbers are not just statistics, they are sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and many of them were placed in danger by the very system claiming to act in their best interest. Section 5, the solutions in this act. The Family Justice and Accountability Act is bold because incremental change is no longer enough. It ends immunity for judges. So remember I told you that we never voted it in? Even President Trump's lawyers didn't know what I know. Isn't that funny? So when he went through what he went through with the, 34 felony charge nonsense, which we all know was nonsense, leave it to New York again, right? They said that they couldn't wipe out the immunity part because they're saying that it was constitutional. It's not constitutional. Family court is, again, we didn't vote it in. Did you guys vote it in?